Hey there. So I wanted to pop on and answer a question about personal statement length from Anonymous in the forums here. Uh, Anonymous writes, I know some schools have different length requirements, but I was wondering what the standard length usually is. I haven't entirely narrowed down my list yet, but I just started writing it, so I want to make sure I don't make it too long. I've heard it's typically around 2 to 3 pages. Is it ever okay if it's longer, or should it be 3 pages max? So there are two important things that I think I'd like to point out here. Uh, the first of which being that the standard is 2 pages. So I would I would recommend that everybody limit themselves to 2 pages max. Uh, and I know that's difficult. It's challenging. I don't think most law schools are going to, read a third page, right? Especially if a law school requires a 2 page max, then they're really gonna frown upon a longer personal statement. Part of the law school admissions review process is just making sure that you took the time to read the instructions and follow them. A big part of law school is reading the laws and reading cases and understanding how to uh, you know pay attention to detail. And attention to detail is such an important thing on the LSAT, and in law school and in your career as a lawyer, that I think it's something uh, that you really want to make sure that you're paying very close attention to on the law school applications as well. So anytime, so okay, first off, any single time you're filling out an application, you want to make sure you're reading every rule, every not rule, but in every instruction and following it to a T. Okay, so if it says 2 page, you better give them 2 pages. Don't give them 2.5. Don't give them 3. Give them 2. If it doesn't have a max, I'd still limit it to 2 pages because at least some school that you apply to is going to require a 2 page max, I would assume, for most people. And you really probably don't want to be writing separate personal statements for each school or editing it down, editing it up, uh, unless the school requires it, in which case you have to. But most schools, I can't think of a single example that of a school that requires it to be shorter or longer than 2 pages. So 2 pages is the standard, and I think it's probably the best advice in this situation. So yeah, and if you're having trouble condensing it to 2 pages, then you really need to think about what what you want to get across, and really think about editing editing yourself and trimming it down to the core. And a lot of writers will say that they'll write 10 pages and only keep one. They'll after you edit out all of the sort of extraneous and unnecessary stuff. And it's okay if your first draft's 3 or 4 pages. I understand that it's very difficult to, uh, you know, write something as important as your personal statement and get everything that you want to convey about yourself to an admissions committee in only 200 pages. I'm sorry, 2 pages, which is about 500 words. Um, but that's part of the challenge, and that's part of the best way to convey you know, a good sense of yourself to the admissions committee is to give them the most important stuff and only the most important stuff. So, um, really work. Maybe your first draft's going to be 3 pages, maybe it's 4 pages. We can help you edit it down if you post it on the forums. We'd be happy to review some of those and provide comment. Post it anonymously and remove identifying information if you don't want to, disclose that stuff on the forums in a public manner like that. But I definitely would be happy to look at it and give you some tips and advice and what we think and other students too. I think having multiple people read your personal statement, they'll be able to tell you, like, this, you just go on and on about this for too long, or this I didn't really find interesting or important, and this is what I really took away. That's what I want to see, and that's what I think is the most important part of your personal statement. So focus in on that and narrow out everything else. And 2 pages, it's not a lot of room, but um, people don't want to read your life story. They want to see they want to see what you can tell them about yourself in a short amount of time, because they're really only scanning these things and skimming them to begin with, because they've got literally thousands of these to read. Um, so the longer you go on, the less impact it's going to have. So condense it to two pages, and that's going to be your best bet. But always pay attention to the instructions specific to each application. Make sure that you're following them to a T. If it says 2 pages, keep it a 2-page max. If it says 11-point font, make it 11-point font. Don't just submit one standard thing to everybody and hope that it works. So I think 11 or 12-point font and two pages is going to be good for most schools, but you're going to want to be very careful that you're following these specific instructions on each application for each school, and that's going to give you the best. That's going to put your best foot forward. So thank you for the question, and hopefully this helped. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to respond. Thank you.